Hello, NBA fans. Every day we have news about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm a Lakers fan and I ask for your help by subscribing to the channel and giving me your thumbs up. The Lakers will be looking in the 2026 draft for a player who is strong, explosive, tall, and athletic. The goal is to sign JT Toppin, who was named Player of the Year. JT Toppin is a good rebounder on both sides of the court and has good footwork to finish. He is agile and a good shot blocker. JT Toppin is a good finisher, has both defensive and offensive skills, therefore he will be the best option for the Lakers to sign in the 2026 draft. The Lakers want to sign the new phenomenon that is JT Toppin. The Lakers look good this season, but they are going to have plenty of needs. One area of need is at the wing, especially with LeBron James potentially playing his last season in Los Angeles. Jonathan Wasserman of Bleacher Report put together a mock draft, and he projects the Lakers to select Texas Tech forward JT Toppin. There were scouts with a first-round grade on JT Toppin last May. He's now started his junior year with 2 30-point games over his first 3, overwhelming defenses with his 1-2 punch of strength and paint touch, Wasserman wrote. Even if it's difficult to envision pathways to upside for a 6 feet 9 inches post player, there will be teams that see value and a high floor based on his consistent production, interior scoring instincts, unteachable short-range touch and offensive rebounding. Despite underwhelming three-point and free throw numbers, he did make 39% of his catch-and-shoot chances. Toppin is a strong defensive player. Toppin's been off to a strong offensive start this college basketball season, but he's more known for his defense. If he could develop a three-point shot, he could be a serious problem. For right now, he's not a strong shooter, but he does have skill around the basket. Yahoo Sports' Kevin O'Connor gave some insight in his scouting report of Toppin. Toppin is a defensive stalwart who lays it all out on the floor with a strong interior scoring ability, O'Connor wrote. But unless he can translate his soft touch from the paint to a much deeper range, he'll be a limited scorer that will have to rely on others to make an offensive impact. O'Connor also praised his playmaking. He'd score highly on a reaction time game considering how quick his hands are, O'Connor wrote. He logs a ton of blocks and steals, whether he's swiping at the ball when a ball handler least suspects it, or throwing his arms up to intercept entry passes. Is Toppin right fit for Lakers? Toppin is a very interesting prospect. He was the Big 12 Player of the Year last year and looks really good to start this season. There are some big concerns with his shooting ability, but that's something he could work on. The Lakers will likely be picking at the end of the first round, so they aren't going to get a blue-chip prospect. Just finding a player who can work his way into the rotation would be a win. If James does retire or leave the Lakers, they need size on the wing. Toppin wouldn't come close to replacing his playmaking ability, but he'd at least bring some defensive upside. Lakers establishing Luka Doncic trend rival teams can't hope to compete with. Luka Doncic has the Lakers thriving in the clutch and preparing itself for a deep playoff run. The Los Angeles Lakers have built a captivating team around franchise player Luka Doncic. They're playing with significantly more energy and intensity on defense than a season ago, and have 2 legitimate co-stars in LeBron James and Austin Reeves. When there's nothing left to do but turn to the superstar to close out a win, however, the Lakers are uniquely qualified to win tight games down the stretch. Los Angeles is currently 12-4, including a winning record of 4-3 against teams that are .500 or better. It's won 8 of its 12 games by 10 points or less, including a recent 108-106 victory over the Utah Jazz that saw it hold on to a narrow lead over a surging opponent. Law Murray of The Athletic pointed to a trend that can be directly attributed to Doncic and a developing strength that should have the Lakers battle-tested by the playoffs: clutch performance. The Lakers have 12 wins this season. Half of them have come in clutch time, which the NBA defines as any game that is within 5 points at some point in the last 5 minutes of regulation. With elite execution down the stretch, the Lakers are positioning themselves to make the type of deep postseason run that the Dallas Mavericks twice went on with Doncic. Lakers are winning close games with Luka Doncic running the show. In addition to winning 6 games in what the NBA defines as a clutch situation, Los Angeles is 6-0 under said circumstances. It's the only undefeated team in clutch scenarios, which is reason enough to be intrigued by what they can achieve in the playoffs given their effectiveness late in games. Considering Los Angeles won many of those games without James, it's impossible to not at least wonder how much better they can be with him back in the rotation. Doncic and Reeves have been the driving forces behind the Lakers' success late in games up to this point in the season. They both rank within the top 15 in the NBA in points per fourth quarter, with Reeves shooting 50.9% from the field and Doncic at 47.7%. It's only been 2 games, but James is already on pace to lead the NBA in assists per fourth quarter at 3.5, 1.1 more than the next leading player. With 3 players who have proven capable of taking over late in games, the Lakers have an advantage over the rest of the NBA. No other team currently has 2 players ranking in the top 15 in points per fourth quarter, and James is one of the most revered clutch scorers of his era. It may take time for the Lakers star trio to strike the ideal balance late in games, but if they do, they'll have as many high-level options as any other team in the association, if not more so. It's perhaps the biggest selling point of the star trio Los Angeles has opted to build around. It's not just that Doncic, James, and Reeves can stuff the stat sheet and score 30-plus points on a regular basis, but that few teams can realistically expect to have 3 high-level defenders matching up against them at any given moment. With the personnel to win close encounters and overwhelm opposing defenses with star-caliber talent, the Lakers are developing a significant edge that should rear its head in the playoffs. Lakers have obvious fix to make themselves true championship contender. LA needs upgrades on defense. The Los Angeles Lakers have clearly cemented themselves as one of the top teams in the Western Conference this season. But while it's apparent that there's a gap between the Lake Show and the majority of the West, it's also becoming increasingly obvious that this team needs a stronger overall defensive presence in order for it to become a team truly worthy of a championship. Over the course of the summer, the Lakers made additions that served to upgrade their process on both sides of the ball. Bringing in Marcus Smart was certainly a strong move when it came to adding point-of-attack defenders that could take a load off Luka Doncic, but Smart alone isn't enough to offset the rest of LA's defensive deficiencies. If you look at the totality of this roster, the Lakers are a much more offensive-minded team. That's fine for the regular season, and it's a great strategy when number 77 is leading things. He's going to make everyone around him better, and raise the ceiling of any team when it comes to putting up points on the scoreboard. But when the postseason comes around, Lakers fans have greater peace of mind that this team is going to be able to survive without its defense tanking. The Lakers' defense needs an upgrade. There are just too many holes on the defensive side of things right now for Laker Nation to feel comfortable long-term. LA is sitting in the middle of the pack when it comes to defensive rating, currently ranked 16th as of this writing. What Rob Pelinka and the front office need to do is keep their eyes peeled for more two-way players around the league that might become available and could be acquired ahead of the trade deadline. The good news is that the Lakers have time to address this. The offense is humming, the chemistry around Luka is growing, and Smart has already helped stabilize the guard rotation. But if Los Angeles wants to move from being just another dangerous team to truly being championship material, they need more size, versatility, and physicality on the perimeter and in the frontcourt. Teams in the West are too talented to try and outscore 3 straight rounds without reliable stops. The foundation is in place with this team, but the Lakers will ultimately rise or fall based on whether they can close the defensive gap before the postseason arrives. Lakers showing early signs of the culture change J.J. Redick promised. J.J. Redick has the Lakers playing hard. More importantly, he has them playing for each other. The Los Angeles Lakers hired J.J. Redick to modernize the offense and get buy-in on the defensive end of the floor. They also hoped he'd be able to relate to the new generation of players as an individual who isn't all that far removed from his own playing career. Redick has not only succeeded in those areas during his first 2 seasons at the helm, but has successfully changed the culture in Los Angeles. Los Angeles has undergone drastic changes over the past year, with none being bigger than swapping franchise player Anthony Davis for the new face of the Lakers, Luka Doncic. It's also brought in veterans who epitomize the defensive and selfless mentalities that Redick hoped to instill. According to Dan Woik of The Athletic, Lakers star Austin Reaves explained that the Lakers have overcome their dreadful three-point shooting by committing to doing whatever it takes to win. "I think it's just chemistry. Care factor's high," Reaves said. "You want to go out there and do whatever you can do to help one another succeed. And I think that goes a long way. There's no selfishness, everybody wants to see everybody succeed. That determination to play through slumps and find ways to win by excelling in other areas is a massive change from what fans unfortunately grew accustomed to seeing in previous seasons." Austin Reaves on Lakers: "Everybody wants to see everybody succeed. The Lakers have consistently run into the same wall after winning the 2020 NBA championship. A trip to the 2023 Western Conference Finals is an achievement to celebrate, but they've lost in the first round or missed the playoffs in every one of the other 4 completed seasons. One of the primary reasons Los Angeles kept bowing out was a combination of defensive inconsistency and a degree of trepidation to make plays when shots weren't falling. That hasn't been the case early in 2025-26, as the Lakers are proving far more resourceful and resilient even in a regular season setting. It's an encouraging improvement over what the team showed in 2024-25, when it was a painfully streaky unit that balanced runs of wins and losses in a manner that proved unsustainable. With new additions such as DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, and Marcus Smart plugging the holes that agonizingly existed in 2024-25, however, the Stars have been positioned to prevent the streaky tendencies from taking hold again. Los Angeles has yet to lose consecutive games in 2025-26, which is reason enough to be intrigued. Beyond the wins and losses, it's playing with relentless energy. It currently ranks number 8 in loose balls recovered and number 12 in deflections and screen assists. By comparison, it finished the 2024-25 season at number 18 in screen assists, number 24 in deflections, and number 25 in loose balls recovered. Each of those improvements reveal core elements of how the Lakers are more determined to make the hustle plays in 2025-26. Perhaps the ball could move more and the ISO-heavy tactics could be pulled back a bit, but Redick is planting seeds that could sprout a top-tier defense. There's still work to be done in Los Angeles, but Redick has the purple and gold playing with far more energy and intensity on defense thanks to the promised culture change that was desperately needed and long overdue. LeBron James retirement update from Insider is best-case scenario for Lakers. With LeBron James preparing to turn 41 in late December, it makes sense for individuals to speculate about the Los Angeles Lakers star's future in the big leagues. However, it's always better to receive an insightful update from a trustworthy insider about James' retirement status, which is exactly what occurred on Monday morning. The update should be perceived as the best-case scenario for the Lakers. Giving James a night off here and there, from now until mid-April, would help save his legs for what the Lakers hope is a deep playoff run, ESPN's Dave McMenamin stated. At the same time, if James believes this could be his last season, something that sources close to James have insisted that he remains undecided about, he might feel even more responsibility to suit up for every game on what would then be a retirement tour. Luka Doncic is the face of the Lakers franchise, whether James likes it or not. Los Angeles has done everything in its power to cater to the former Dallas Mavericks stud point guard since acquiring him in February, hinting at a change in the power dynamic. James was the center of attention upon joining the Lakers in 2018, but has now lost his spot in line. However, the Lakers are waiting for James to either retire or join a different franchise before making it official. With McMenamin reporting that there's a chance James could leave Los Angeles at the conclusion of this season, the Lakers should be in good spirits. Even if James elects to return to the Lakers for another campaign, it appears that James' tenure with the 17-time NBA champions is winding down, allowing Los Angeles to begin a new era of basketball centered around Doncic. Reggie Miller raises doubts over J.J. Redick's offensive plans for LeBron James. The Los Angeles Lakers, in the early days of the 2025-26 season, look like real contenders. However, unlike in their recent successful campaigns, it is not LeBron James who is leading them to wins. In fact, the King has looked out of touch, leaving many to wonder what role he will play on the Lakers. The purple and gold have piled up wins on the backs of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves while James was sidelined with sciatica. The resilience of head coach J.J. Redick's squad has been impressive, and they have relied heavily on their defense, something they lacked last year, to win games. Doncic is proving his critics from last season wrong, and Reeves has emerged as the team's second scoring option. Speaking of James, he is easing back into the game, but his numbers are far from what the King is used to. He is currently averaging 14 points per game. While he is still getting his playing legs under him, a conversation will need to happen, and it is one that NBA legend Reggie Miller raised during an interview on the Dan Patrick Show. "When was the last time LeBron James was the fifth leading scorer on his team?" asked Miller. "He's averaging 14 points. How does JJ navigate that, having an All-NBA player just a year ago, second team in LeBron, and now you incorporate him in the Lakers structures?" It is a legitimately good question for one reason: the Lakers are winning. The future of the franchise belongs to Doncic and Reeves. That said, James is still capable of some incredible feats at his age, and at any moment, the dominant James could return. Miller added that this is a very good problem for Redick and the Lakers to have. "It's a great thing. It's a great problem to have," the Pacers icon continued. Miller then brought up one area where the Lakers need to improve quickly with James, and that is in late-game moments. Against the Jazz earlier this week, James' presence late in the game gave the Lakers a scare as Utah came dangerously close to turning the tables. "The last 2 minutes were a little kind of wobbly," said the Hall of Famer. "Because they didn't know, it was between Austin Reeves, and Luka, and LeBron, and all they kept running was high screen and roll with LeBron being the screener. At some point, when LeBron has his legs, his wind, and he's back in full shape, no back issues, you assume at some point LeBron is going to have the ball with some of these high screen and rolls. They've got to figure out their closing moment and action between those three players," he added. So now the Lakers find themselves in a spot few expected this early in the season, winning big while still figuring themselves out. The chemistry between Doncic and Reeves is only getting stronger, and LeBron's gradual return adds another layer to an already intriguing mix. Redick has some decisions to make, especially in tight late-game situations, but these are the kinds of challenges winning teams face. If LA can iron out those closing time issues, this squad could be even more dangerous once all three stars are fully in sync. And do not worry about LeBron. The King will have performances that turn heads and remind everyone why he has been such a force of nature for more than 20 seasons. Whether he wins one more ring before leaving the game for good is the question the Lakers hope to answer in 2026.